What is going on, guys? Welcome to Gregolos TV. In this video, we are going to compare the Galaxy S22 Ultra to the Pixel 7 Pro. I'm going to tell you which I think is the better phone, which one to buy, and let's jump into this comparison. All right, here we go. Galaxy S22 Ultra right here on the left, and the Pixel 7 Pro on the right. Now, right off the bat, we're going to compare these basically in every category you can think of. So price alone is a huge difference. So this is the 256 with 12 gigs of RAM. This goes for $12.99. This is the 128 with 12 gigabytes of RAM, and it goes for $8.99. Now, if you drop this down to 128, it only has 8 gigs of RAM. So the performance theoretically over the long term, especially with multiple apps and all that stuff, probably wouldn't be as good as this version at 128 with 12 gigs of RAM. And then again, at the 128 price for this is coming in at $11.99. Obviously, they have promo pricing and trade-ins and all that stuff, but just basic pricing, the Pixel 7 Pro wins very, very easily. What about the design of both of these? Pixel 7 Pro is more rounded, squared off on the S22 Ultra phone. Now, looking at both of these two, you can see that the Galaxy phone is more matte looking versus the more glossy look on the Pixel 7 Pro. On the back here, camera setup is completely different. For me, just the back of these phones, I would definitely give it to the Galaxy S22 Ultra. I think it looks better overall. I like the more matte look to it. It's not completely matte, but it's more matte looking and less fingerprinty overall versus these two. The camera setup, I guess because this has a big metal bar going across, I guess I'd choose the S22 Ultra on that. Button setup is pretty much the same. You got your buttons on the right here. There's not going to be any headphone jack or anything like that on either one of these phones. You get your, at the bottom here, you get your setup for the charging and the speakers. Both have stereo speakers. They put their SIM card slots in different locations. Neither has micro SD card expansion, just SIM cards and eSIM overall for that kind of stuff. Also, the Galaxy phone does come with an S Pen, so if you, and that's something that the Pixel phone cannot compete with, but you know, if you're an S Pen user and you're an S Pen person, you can do all kinds of stuff in here right on your screen if you want, and take notes or control your phone if you want, open up apps, control. So whatever you want to do, if you're a person that wants to use a pen to sign contracts or to use your phone with a pen or to color or to glance at something or to zoom in on something, all that stuff can be done with this S Pen. It's very, very helpful in that regard. So I'm personally not a big S Pen person, so it's not a big winning point, but overall, it's, this has it, this doesn't, so this takes the cake in digital pen overall. Next would be battery life. I personally don't get amazing battery life with either one of these phones. They can basically last me about a day. I wake up really early, and probably by 3 p.m., 4 p.m., something like that, sometimes earlier in the day, I have to charge it up, or it's getting close to the point where I'd be worried about lasting the rest of the day, so I want to charge up. So to me, these are at least a one-time charging phone throughout the day for me. It's going to be different for everybody, how much you use the phone, how bright you have the display, what resolution you have the display set to, all that kind of stuff is going to play a factor if you're on Wi-Fi versus 5G all day, all that stuff. So just be forewarned. But ultimately, battery life, I would consider them both to be very similar in basically getting a full day. Next would be performance. So this has a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor. This has the Google Tensor 2 chip. And you can see performance-wise, the Galaxy phone does win. It wins in every category, single core, and even in the multi-core score. So for gaming, just overall raw performance, yes, the Pixel wins, but that doesn't, the Galaxy S22 Ultra wins, but ultimately it doesn't tell the full story to this, because on a day-to-day basis, just smoothness, any jagged edges within that smoothness, I personally find the Pixel 7 Pro to be the smoothest, most luxurious, best experience overall on a day-to-day basis of using a Galaxy Android phone at the best. It's literally very, very smooth, and it just feels great on a day-to-day basis. Just when I'm showing you something here, it's not going to probably make a big dent in anything of what you see, but you know, it just is a great performer of anything that you do. You can see that opened it up quicker, but just day-to-day basis stuff, I personally feel like the Pixel 7 Pro does feel like a smoother experience, the smoothest experience, and if I would give the win to this phone. But don't get me wrong, this is very fast and fluid in feeling, but it does sometimes have a jagged edge here or there, and the Pixel 7 Pro takes it over that. Going back to the battery stuff a little bit, you can wirelessly charge on both of these. You can wirelessly charge devices on the back of these as well. So if you want to charge some earbuds or something like that, throw them on the back of this and you can charge them up. Both of these do also have fast charging, 30 watt on the Pixel 7 Pro, and then up to 45 watt on the S22 Ultra. Charging speeds are faster on the S22 Ultra, so it takes the win on that. Display brightness, definitely the Galaxy S22 Ultra. I mean, even though these are basically very close in nits of brightness, it's not even a contest. I'm just going to put these phones, that looks about halfway, and this is, I'm not even at halfway, and it looks exactly the same, if not brighter. This is at about 25%. So they look about the same, and I can get this to half. I mean, it might be hard to see on the camera, but if you were with me, you would notice a huge difference. This gets really, really bright. For me, brightness, not even a contest, like I said. S22 Ultra completely takes the cake with that. Pixel 7 Pro has improved over the last generation of this phone, but still, if you need the brightest display, you're gonna wanna go with the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Also, quality of display, both of these are 2K 120 Hertz. I personally like the Galaxy S22 Ultra display. There's something about it looks more better to me. Obviously the brightness, but it just looks like a better display, like a better quality display. Don't get me wrong, this does look good. It just doesn't look as good as the Galaxy phone. There's something about Galaxy displays that are just completely unbeatable versus anybody else. But you also got to remember, it's going to end up being about $300 more than the Pixel 7 Pro. So you got to take their fact. Does it look $300 better? I don't know about that, but it definitely looks better than the Pixel 7 Pro. So the win for display, overall, quality, all that stuff is the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Holding these in your hand, obviously you're gonna have a case most likely, but if you didn't, even though this is squared off, it does have kind of rounded edges. But for me, the Pixel 7 Pro is easier to hold, more comfortable to hold as well. But the S22 Ultra doesn't fall too far behind in that regard. Next, let's talk about the photos. Let's talk about videos and photos. Both of these have really, really great cameras. With that said though, let's, I guess, just dive right into the cameras, and then at the end of this video, I'll tell you which one I thought looks better. So we'll check out the front, the back, and get into that. I'll just show you the camera apps on both of these. Kind of similar in regard to what you're seeing. For the most part, they both have, this is portrait mode video, this has cinematic video, which ultimately means that you're going to see the person or the subject in focus, and the background will be out of focus. They have regular video, regular photo. This shoots up to 8K. The Galaxy phone does, the Pixel phone does not. It only goes up to 4K. So I'll be doing everything in 4K 30, and I'll be taking some photos. Both of these can shoot very high megapixels, so we'll set it at that as well. Here's portrait mode video. Get an idea of which one potentially looks better. Which one do you guys think looks better on the dog? It's kind of hard to do this because I'm going to put this on my face. I'm putting this on my face. Portrait mode video. Which one looks better? Oh, I almost tripped. Ooh. All right, here we go with the front-facing cameras on these. One thing I noticed, looks like the Galaxy really crops in on the front camera versus what the Pixel does. I actually prefer the way the Pixel looks when it's the crop in level, like how much is pulling in on the image. But let me know what you guys think. But this is the front facing camera, 4K. Everything will be in 4K for these cameras. But you let me know what looks and sounds better. This is the back camera on both of these phones. There is a little bit of wind out, so it would be curious to hear if either of these microphones picks up the wind overall or not. But again, this is what they look like. Back main camera, 4K 30 side by side. Microphones, think about everything on here. Here's the ultra wide cameras. What do you guys think? Which one looks better? Look at the clouds, the colors, the sounds, everything. You can check out the palm trees. This is 10x video. I thought this would be kind of a perfect mix of what it looks like. That's like an orange right in front. We'll get closer to that orange on both of these and walk just to see if one, it's hard to keep them both on the same thing, but hopefully you can at least tell if one's wobbly or not when you're viewing it. We'll get closer and closer and closer to this orange. I'm about a few feet away, but they're both both cameras are right next to each other. You can see which one looks better potentially and which one's more in focus, but both are set to 10x. Software experience, both of these are going to get updates on the security side and the regular OS side for years and years to come. I believe they're exactly the same. I think they both get like 5 years and 4 years, or 4 years and 3 years, something like that. I'll put it on the screen. But ultimately, they get years and years of updates and customization. They're both fairly similar, but Samsung does take the cake. You get their Good Lock app, which is completely a game-changing app. They update it all the time. They add new features all the time. This is something that the Pixel phone does not have, but there's so much to do in here, and it's a free app at that. Tons of stuff in here, and then overall you get so much customization in here. And this is running One UI 5, so it's got the latest software on here in terms of what they're going to offer you. You can download themes, real themes, paid themes. Something Pixel phones don't really have. They have their own kind of theme thing going on, but it's nothing like this. It's not something people made and you can download and pay or get free ones or get a whole Christmas vibe going on where it changes the sounds and all that kind of stuff. So definitely Galaxy takes the cake on that in terms of customization and stuff. But what the Pixel 7 Pro offers in software is very smooth, very reliable, and both are reliable, don't get me wrong, but very reliable software experience, a beautiful, it's just like, it's one of those devices you have to use to really feel like, oh, you know what, there's something special about this. And it's, it's easy to say in words, but you really have to, like I said, have to kind of use it. But, when I mentioned that it does have kind of some customizations, especially with theming, which it has this wallpaper and style, so you can come in here, put your wallpaper down, and then change your different colors here and have your icons be themed out so it matches, so it would change the colors of that kind of stuff. So there's all kinds of stuff on here that you can do in that regard. And then the settings, this is what that looks like. Very similar to what the Galaxy has, a little bit different, but ultimately enough in here to control and customize. But the winning for software, I would say, in terms of the customization and all that stuff, would be the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Next, let's check out a video and the volume on the video. So we'll play one of my newest videos that I have out currently. Some people can download it, some people can't, and everything else that I think about it in general. Now, I will admit, seemingly there's not that many changes with it, at least on a surface. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV. If you've been following my channel, you know that I downloaded One UI 5 beta for my Galaxy Z Fold 4, and some people can download it, some people can't, based off of like if they have the unlocked phone or they don't, or where they live. But regardless, like when you look at this, you don't really see a lot, and it's kind of just the way it is. And I'll also tell you, if I have the unlocked phone, I live in America, I have the One UI beta. I've been using it for about 3 days now. And so one thing I notice about these videos is that, especially the audio, is that the Pixel phone sounds maybe a little bit more muffled in the audio, but more bassy. And then the Galaxy phone sounds clearer, but a little less bassy. It's funny, in the music, the Pixel sounded louder, bassier, and better. So, I mean, sound is obviously going to be something that people like, don't like, but I would personally give the winning speakers sound to the Pixel 7 Pro. So after comparing these phones, I do have to admit the Galaxy S22 Ultra does seemingly win in more categories versus the Pixel 7 Pro. But remember, Pixel 7 Pro is $300 cheaper in almost every price range versus the Galaxy S22 Ultra in terms of storage sizes and all of that. But at the end of the day, which phone is going to be better for you or for everyone at that point? You know, you're not going to go wrong with either one of these phones. You know, sometimes this wins, sometimes this wins. What's the better overall phone in just raw? I'd probably say the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But you got to factor in that price, saving $300. You also got to factor in the experience that you expect and that you want. I would have to guess that if I gave both of these phones to people, you know, and I had them both set to the exact same brightness in terms of display and everything, all that stuff kind of looked the same, they'd probably say I don't know, I think they'd say the Pixel 7 Pro. I think the software experience on this just feels, you have to use this device to know what I mean by that. It's like one of those devices, it's a charming device. I don't feel like the Galaxy phone is charming. Galaxy is more like, wow, that's crazy, it can do all that stuff. But then when you use, some people just want charming. A lot of people just want charming. There's a reason why people use iPhones. iPhone's a very easy experience. It's a comfortable, regular experience that they're used to. And I feel like the Pixel 7 Pro offers a lot of those things on the Android side, and that's not to be understated at all. Camera-wise, for me, if I'm taking a camera out, if you know me, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say I'm taking the Pixel out. Pixel 7 Pro is a more reliable camera. Might not always capture the very best photo over a Galaxy S22 Ultra or the very best video all the time over the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But if I had to choose one of these to go out and go to an amusement park or go somewhere with my family or go on a hiking trip or a camping trip or anywhere that I'm going to take photos of my child, I would, without a doubt, no questions asked, take the Pixel 7 Pro over the Galaxy S22 Ultra in that regard. It's just so much more reliable. There's times you'll use the Galaxy phone, taking a photo, and you'll be like, ooh, the kid moved a little bit, it's a little out of focus, or it doesn't do well in this environment, or it just is not doing that great. Okay, but for me, I'm taking the Pixel 7 Pro in that regard. Overall, if I had to choose one of these phones, I'm not a huge candy bar phone. I still love my foldable phones more than candy bar phones. But I personally, at this point, if I had to choose one of these phones, would choose the Pixel 7 Pro for myself because of the charm, because of the way they do their software over the Galaxy phone. I don't really need, I'll be honest with you, I don't need all the customizations that the Galaxy phone offers you. Is it a huge win over the Galaxy S22 Ultra? No, it's not, in my eyes, for me. But there's just something about these Pixel phones that just gets me. It's the charm, it's the feeling that it gives you. So, just my thoughts, but both phones are really, really great. Both are linked down below. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road.